Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth, and it means so much to me that you've decided to join me here for another Wealthy Wednesday discussion. If this is your first time here, I want to encourage you to subscribe after you have watched this video and enjoyed the content. If you are a returning viewer, aka a returning subscriber, hey boo hey, I'm so happy both of you are here with me today. Grab a snack, get comfortable. I think we have a couple things that we're going to discuss. So this is Wealthy Wednesday number 2. And so just a couple suggestions before we dig deep into this series. I would recommend you getting a binder or a journal, but I think a binder simply because there will be extra papers that you will be adding to it as we go through the series. And so whatever I think is going to work for me, I'm going to share with you, because again, my goal is for all of us to win. And so if something changes, if something isn't working, I'm going to be completely transparent on this channel and tell you. Right now I have this green notebook that I just happen to have in my house that I'm using, but I will be using a binder moving forward. And as I build that binder, I will be showing you all what it looks like. And that's just so that as you're watching these videos, you can take notes. I feel like this is not the kind of content that you just sit and watch, but it's more interactive. Sometimes I'll be giving you things to think about, and I think if you really want to come out of this changed, and if you want to take on the mindset that I'm encouraging, always come to this series with a pen and a piece of paper. Okay, so a couple things that you should know. We will be using Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money as our foundation. Off camera, I will be reading several other books concerning finances. My goal is to educate myself in a efficient way, I should say, where I can then report back to you all what I'm learning throughout the week. However, I have read this book and I think it serves as a great blueprint as to where do we start, where to begin. So as we read Dave Ramsey's book and go through it, I will also say, I'm also reading, I'll have another book and I'll say this is a fun fact or something that I learned. So there will be different resources, all of which I will highlight, mention, and share so that you can pick it up if you so choose to. But nonetheless, my goal is to break this book down, to convey the important information to you, and to also document me taking the actual steps of the things that I'm learning. So if you're someone that wants to also purchase these books, go right ahead. I will tell you about all the books I'm using. Not all of them I think need to be purchased, because some of them may just be like, oh, there were a couple nuggets in it, but not the entire book. But I do think that this is a really good book. I've read this book. Some of my little things are sticking out. And I know you're probably wondering, like, okay, if you read it, then why are you doing this series so late? Why haven't you gotten to a place of wealth? And the reality is, I read this book, I want to say I was an undergrad. And so some of the principles that he was talking about, I started to use, but if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I was making enough money and didn't have the time or resources to really like dig in. And so I just kind of kept it on my shelf and I visited, and some of the suggestions he makes has stuck with me, but nonetheless, I'm ready to really apply what he teaches. I know people have mixed feelings about Dave Ramsey, and I want you to understand that we are not here right now to discuss him, but more so the principles that his book teaches. A lot of people have come out of debt by way of this program, and there are several other programs out there. Not telling you that this is the only way to get to it, but I'm just sharing with you what I plan to use as my blueprint, and how I plan to start interacting with wealth. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, again, if you want to see the book, it is The Complete Guide to Money by Dave Ramsey. You can get this book at the library. You can get this book at any thrift bookstore. And you can also order this book on Amazon if you want to follow along or if you want to move ahead. I feel like with this series, I may start uploading 2 videos a week just because of like how much information I feel in my spirit will be helpful. But just to maintain consistency and momentum, I'm sticking with Wednesdays. But please don't be surprised if I, pop up with a bonus financial video, because, I want us to really be working at this, okay? Couple things. Let me just say this. When I announced this series, I was so nervous, right? I knew in my spirit, and I still feel confident in my spirit, that it's necessary, but I am very nervous about it because it is requiring a deeper level of transparency into my life. And I don't know, it's uneasy, but I know that things that we should do aren't always going to feel comfortable. I don't want to do the thing that's comfortable. And so I'm making a declaration to you, but also to myself, that pride cannot exist in this journey. Okay, so I will be sharing with you numbers and my debt and being transparent about my struggles with money and my lack of discipline. And so I want you, though you're the viewer, I want you to take on the mindset today that if you're really trying to get a hold of money, like you're trying to be disciplined when it comes to your finances, but you're also trying to obtain finances, more money, more wealth, that this is going to require us to completely take pride off the table. This is not the time to try to look like we're living a life that we really don't live. And so I recognize that my series may be too slow for some people, meaning they are a little further ahead financially, or it causes friction with who they present themselves to be and who they perceive themselves as being. And so I understand that this series is not for everyone, but the people who do plan to follow along, I say to you, pride has to go. It is something to look at your finances and to have to say, I don't make enough for my lifestyle, or that I may be living on a wing and a prayer. Like, that's a lot, okay? And so if you're going to take the advice that I'm giving or follow the steps that I'm taking, it means really looking at yourself and removing pride, okay? Again, I'm saying it to myself and I'm saying it to you, because we're trying to get to wealth. We're trying to create generational wealth. We're trying to understand money so that we can then turn around and teach our children and our children's children about money. And so the first thing is to acknowledge our ignorance around it, our abuse of money, and just all of that. We just have to uncover all of it. All right? So that's the first thing. So I'm going to just start going through Dave Ramsey's book. We're going to go through this really slow. And there are going to be periods where I'm going to say, okay, this is a task that we have to take, like this is what we're going to do, and then you're sent out to do that. Like, that's your agenda. So in the very beginning of Dave Ramsey books, he says something that I love, that I want to just say. He says, if you really want to win with money, you need to get your arms around a handful of simple, repeatable concepts. The concepts are simple, but that doesn't mean the process is easy. It's not. That's because money is not about math, it's about behavior. So, on top of removing pride, when you watch this video, understand that I would have officially started, because I think for me, and this can be for you too, but just based on the Wednesdays pattern, I want to really put my mind on discipline starting in July. Now, does that mean I'm spending a bunch of money before July? Probably. No. But it definitely means that starting in July, I want to almost square up with my finances, because I am now putting everything that I do with my wallet on Front Street. So I'm accountable to you all, but also to myself privately. And so I love that he says wealth is about behavior, because so many of us have the belief and the mindset that we are not wealthy simply because we do not make enough at our current jobs, or because we're not entrepreneurs, or because we don't have families that are wealthy. And so today I cancel that mindset for you, that wealth is not about those things. Those things do open doors and create pathways for you to accumulate wealth, maybe at a faster rate. But there are people who have had nothing and came out with everything, simply because they were disciplined and they had these simple concepts that they repeated, and their behavior said outwardly that they want to come into wealth and they want to keep it. And so I need you to really wrap your mind around the fact that the things we're about to do, they are going to challenge you. They're going to stretch you. Okay? And so Dave Ramsey's book, this system that he is so widely known for is these baby steps. They're called baby steps. And he has 7 of them. Okay? And I'm going to tell you them because they're in the first chapter. And then I'm going to give you the task, your first task, and then we're going to wrap this video up. The first baby step is to put $1,000 in a beginner emergency fund. If you make under $20,000, he says you can save $500. But if you make over $20,000 a year, you need to put aside $1,000 now. But Alicia, I don't have $1,000. I know. He says that most people can do this within a month. And the reason why they can do it within a month is because they scale back on what they're eating. They sell things that they're not using at their homes. They throw every single penny, dime, and nickel to this savings. Now, if you do not have extra, because the point of my channel is that I want to also put out there that some of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us make just enough to pay our bills, and then there's a little extra that we want to feel good about having, and we go shopping or we eat out, and that's it. We don't make enough to really save. And if we do save, it's like, here's $10, here's $5, here's $20, but it's not enough to feel good about, or we don't feel good about it. You can feel good about whatever you put aside. It's a mindset thing. So here's my suggestions and some of the suggestions he makes. If you don't make enough to save this $1,000, you have to figure out ways for additional income. Whether that's a second job, whether it's a side hustle, think about what you can do today to earn money. So I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. So I picked up a part-time job this summer, okay? I actually just found out that I got the job maybe last week. I applied to several places, was hearing back from different places. Some places the scheduling didn't work out, things of that sort. But I got this job. I'm going to take on a full-time schedule because in my mind, while I'm on vacation and a part-time will be just enough, right? Because I'm a teacher, I am trying to aggressively pay off debt and to save. So I want to take on a full-time, part-time job. I mean, like a side hustle, so that I can max out. If you need to, after you finish this video, you need to make a list in your, jot down a note for today's video. Get a part-time job, get a side job. Let's say you don't have time for a side job. There's no like consistent window. What can you do to bring in income today? Is there something you can sell? Can you tutor? There's a lot of jobs that you can tutor online. You can tutor in your neighborhood. Can you bake food and sell it? Can you do something on the Fiverr website where you can offer up your services for graphic design or editing? There are so many things. And so just with this coming to mind right now, I want to say this. In addition to this video, I want to have a section on my blog, which is www.alicia-elizabeth.com. And there will be a section called Journey to Wealth or something of that sort. If I have a blog post, I will link it below, but you can always check my blog to see if I have additional information. I will try to put together a blog post of side hustles that you can do to begin creating income. So he said it takes people a month, but if it takes you a little longer than a month, that's okay. Remember, we are developing a behavior. You need to put aside $1,000, and this is your emergency fund. Now, what qualifies as an emergency? I'm so happy that you asked. He says that you need to decide what an emergency is based on your household. Okay, so if you are a parent, it looks different from someone who is single with no kids and no partner. Nonetheless, an emergency could look like a flat tire, something going on with your car, anything that you know will happen, but you don't know when it's going to happen, qualifies as an emergency. You have a doctor's bill because let's say you went to the emergency room. Things that we know can happen, but we don't know when it's going to happen. We never know when our car is going to be a butt and give out on us. But this $1,000 is for that. Now, is $1,000 for a new couch? No. Is it for a vacation coming up? No. Is it for a down payment on an outfit? No. These are not emergencies. So first you need to figure out, how am I going to bring in additional income? Secondly, what qualifies as an emergency in my household? Because that is what this $1,000 will be for. The second step that he mentioned, so we're kind of going, I hope you all are taking notes. The second step that he mentions is to pay off all debt using the debt snowball. So we will talk about that in another video. Remember, I'm just telling you the 7 steps so that you can get an idea of where we're going. The first step is to get to $1,000. That's the goal for the month of July. The second step is to begin paying off all debt using this snowball effect. I will talk about that, if not in the next video, the video after that. Baby step number 3, put 3 to 6 months of expenses into a savings as a full emergency fund. So if you want to get ahead of my videos and do what I will be doing, the next thing you need to do is create a budget. You need to know what's going on with your money. I'm writing this down with you all because I want it to be interactive. So I hope you have your paper. So the first thing that we talked about is $1,000. The goal is by the end of July. Now, if you need to, set the goal to the end of August, but really be aggressive in your mindset about how can I cut corners, whether it's in my grocery bill, my shopping expenses, my eating out, to get to $1,000. Many of us are quarantined and we've been saving money because we're not using gas. Hopefully your utility bill, I don't know about your utility bill, but look in your budget to see where you can skim money off to get to this $1,000. It has to be done aggressively. Number 2, I can't remember what I said. Oh, part-time job or side hustle. I said I was going to be transparent. So I picked up a part-time job. I mentioned that, but I'm also going to look into tutoring in the month of July because I am trying to be aggressive about my finances. So if you are a teacher, look into that. If you're an artist, do some little side jobs for people. Whatever you can do. I don't care if people will pay you $5. Take that $5, throw it into the bank. $1,000 is our goal, okay? Number 3, decide what qualifies as an emergency in my home. Again, I'm doing this with you, so I will be updating you with my answers as well. Number 4, so he says you need to start paying off debt with the snowball effect. How do we pay off debt? We need to know what our debt is. So number 4 will be find time to figure out what debt you have. So collect debt. This can be police tickets, medical bills, credit cards, student loans, everything that you owe. Put it together. And this is why I said you need to have a binder, because some of these bills that are past due or some of these things that you still need to pay, you could put it in your binder as a reminder of like, okay, I need to pay off all of this, and together it comes to this amount, okay? Baby step number 3. So right now we have 4 things that we need to do when we cut this camera off. But according to his baby step number 3 is to put 3 to 6 months of expenses into a savings as a full emergency fund. So this means you need to know how much your household runs off of. So if you spend $2,000 a month to pay all your utilities on average, your rent, your grocery bill, your gas bill, your miscellaneous items like body wash and cleaning supplies, if it takes $2,000 for you to get all of that done, he is saying that if you're going to put 3 to 6 months of expenses away, that means you're going to save $12,000. Or if you're just doing 3 months, you're going to save $6,000. That is a full emergency fund. Should you lose your job, should you want to quit your job, you can live 3 to 6 months off of this fund. This also means that you have to know how much it takes for your house to really run. I'm going to say put this down as something to start thinking about, but it is possible that in the next month, you're going to see that your house really doesn't need as much money as you may have been spending. What do you mean by that, Alicia? When I'm trying to save money, I realize that I really spend a lot of money on groceries. I don't eat that much, but it makes a difference between buying seafood and buying a pack of chicken. Buying flavored drinks and just drinking water. Like those differences in choices. So like I told you, when he said it takes a month to save $1,000, people are choosing to eat rice and beans versus having steak, mashed potatoes, and broccoli. These are choices that we decide. He's not telling you to do that, but you decide where you can skim, if you want to skim, and how you want to skim. So I would recommend, when you're trying to figure out how much your household runs per month, give yourself a month in this time of trying to get to $1,000 to see where you can really cut corners, and then maybe determine at that point how much do I need to like really get from A to B in my household, okay? Baby step number 4, invest 15% of your household income into both IRAs and pre-tax retirement plans. What is that? I don't know. This is why we're doing this, because now we have something we need to research and talk about. Baby step number 5, begin a college fund for your kids. If you're not a parent, that does not apply to you. I'm sure in that chapter, he's going to tell us what to do. Baby step number 6, pay off your home early if you are a homeowner. Baby step number 7, build wealth and give. So again, we're not doing all this right now, but because it's in his first chapter, I wanted you to understand what our blueprint looks like, and then we're going to break it down. So we are at the 20-minute mark. I didn't want these videos to be this long, but I'm okay with them being this long because who it's for is who it's for. Yes, so here's an example of me learning to use my skill set to generate additional income. If you are someone who needs help with your resume or cover letter, I am attaching my email below. Please send me an email, and I will also post my Cash App and prices. Since we're doing this wealth building series, I want to help people build wealth by not only educating them, but equipping them. So I will go over your resume and cover letter with you. And this literally, y'all, I'm being upfront. This came to mind when I was thinking about this video. So if you're someone who needs help with your resume and cover letter, in my head right now, the price for that, I'm trying to decide if I should say it on camera or if I should just tell you through email, but I will have a price for resume, I will have a price for cover letters, and I will have a price for 1-hour consultation to practice for interviews. What does that consultation look like? We will talk about the company that you are applying for, and I will make sure I come prepared with questions for you that could possibly come up in your interview. We can talk about public speaking, eye contact, all of that jazz, anything that makes you nervous, jitters of the sort. So that's an example of me, in addition to tutoring and having a part-time job that I haven't started yet, I'm starting in July, creating ways and additional streams of income to get to this $1,000. Remember that I am starting at 0 with you all. So as I make deposits to get to that 1,000, I will share that with you. But together, collectively, we're gonna do this, okay? I hope that you all are excited as I am. I hope that you all are, if you're nervous or feeling overwhelmed, I pray that you just take a deep breath and understand that wealth is for you. I want you to tell yourself that I can attract wealth. I'm worthy of being wealthy. I'm worthy of having all my wants and needs provided for. That there is an abundance available to me. And that there's nothing evil about wanting to have wealth, to be able to take care of myself and my family, okay? So again, if you would like any assistance with your resume or cover letter or consultation to prepare for an interview, that information is below. My blog information is below. The channel's series, like the dates and stuff and things like that, will be below. I'm so excited to be doing this with you all. Remember that the goal for this month, save $1,000, find a part-time job or a part-time hustle that you can start today and start bringing in income with. Decide what qualifies as an emergency for your household. Do not break that agreement. This is what is an emergency. This is what this $1,000 is for. Number 4, figure out what debt you have. Those are the 4 things that we're doing before the next video. And it's okay if you don't know all of the debt. Begin to look into the debt you have. Number 5, I would say, is to start making a budget. We're going to talk about this in another video, but start looking at how much do I spend on groceries? How much do I spend on gas? And if your output is more than your input, meaning you're spending more than you're making, it's okay. We're going to get to the nitty gritty. We're going to face it. But in order to change the behavior, we have to acknowledge that it exists. I'm so excited to be doing this with you all. I can't wait to talk to you more about it. Have a wonderful day, you wealthy people.